I'm a big Dr. Phil guy. Dr. Phil, just such a, I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, but the way he'll just chop you down and then throw to commercial. Brilliant comedic timing. Just, hey, you are, hey, shut your mouth, you little We'll be right back. And just every time, hilarious. I don't know what the episode was about, where that context was headed, but hey, Nathan, look at me right now. Look at me. I don't like your attitude. I don't like your energy, okay? You're 16. I don't know how you got out of bed, okay? You're dressed like a goddamn WNBA ref, okay? You're on my stage right now. I don't like the way that your eyes are looking at I want to hit you, dog, but I'm not gonna, because you got secrets, okay, Nathan? And we got to get to rock top to figure out why you're at rock bottom, because your heart's being driven into the ground. It's a depressive submarine, and you need help, okay? Give me one reason, Nathan, why you're not a loser, and I'll give you 10 reasons why everyone in your family wishes you were dead. We'll be right back. We'll see if we get Nathan to step back from that ledge, my friend, third eye blind style.
Any white people in the audience tonight? You guys act like you never heard that question before. I know it's been a rough couple years for white people, but no matter what you are, you should be proud of it, all right? Let's try this one more time. Where are my white people at? I hate the way you guys talk. It was a trap the whole time. You guys always put stuff at the end of sentences that don't really belong there to make yourself sound smarter and better than us. This one guy I was talking to outside, he was like, I speak in language embellished in each kind of artistic ornament and meaningless chatter, if you will. What's if you will? The sentence is done. Furthermore, that's really annoying. Okay, smart 3 people got that last one.
I am a heterosexual man. I've always been attracted to females, but there are certain guys who make me nervous. You know what I mean? Like every now and then I'm just like, oh, hello. Like I never know when it's gonna happen. Like there's this guy that works in the bagel shop in our neighborhood. I can't even make like he has the most mysterious blue eyes. I can't even look him directly in the face. Like as the line moves up, it's like I hope I get him, but I also don't hope I get him. Like my heart is beating faster, my mouth is dry. Finally I get up to the front, I'm just like, cream cheese, you decide. I don't know what it is, I'm not sexually attracted to him, but I just want him to like me. Desperately.
A lot of people don't know that Vancouver, we have some great tourist attractions, but our best tourist attraction is the crackhead flea market. You never know what you're going to get offered in stolen items. It's amazing. Every time you walk down the street, somebody's like, do you want to buy a Fabergé egg and a Nickelback CD? Like, not really in the market for that. How about a bike with one wheel and a microwave lid? I don't know what I could do with that. How about a broken DVD player and a half-eaten Ferrero Rocher? Sold.
You know that whole, you might get hit by a bus tomorrow? It's one of my favourite excuses for doing anything, because it excuses anything. Because it's like, could get hit by a bus tomorrow? Why not? I can do whatever I want because I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. But what I find weird about that saying is I don't know why it's always a bus. Like the saying is a bus, right? You could get hit by a bus tomorrow. I don't know why that is, because, a car would kill you, a train would kill you, but the saying is, and always has been, a bus. Why? Is there some rogue bus driver out there just hooning around, mowing down people who aren't living in the moment? And it only works in a city as well. Like if you live in a little country town, you can't be like, what are you doing that for, Dave? Like, well, could get hit by a bus tomorrow. No, you couldn't. It's not here till next Wednesday.
Everyone's terrified of offending. You can't offend Australians. You can't. You tried. You tried with Outback Steakhouse. You tried. You, America. How dare you? How dare you? Just a fabrication franchise throughout your entire country. That's a complete mockery of my whole culture. And you guys are totally fine with that. Are you totally fine? What the f*** is a bloomin' onion? I've never heard of that in my life. It's a staple dish in this establishment. You all know it. It's a deep fried onion the size of a football. It's what they eat. It's what they eat down under, you know? We don't call it down under either, by the way. We're there. We're there. We don't call you up over or whatever you are.
I drive a 2007 Toyota Prius, charcoal gray, nondescript. But now that Uber and Lyft exist, people just get into my car routinely. Just recently, this young woman gets in my car, announces, "We're going to Brooklyn." Starts waving her girlfriends over. I'm like, whoa, we're not going to Brooklyn. She's like, "Excuse me?" I'm like, "I'm not a cab driver." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "This is not a cab. I'm a person who has a car and drives himself places he needs to go." And then she was horrified when she realized that she ran out traumatized into the embrace of her friends as if I had done something wrong. I was like, "You broke into my car." And she was so sure of herself that I was like, maybe I do work for Uber. Is this how they hire you? Someone just gets in and is like, "All right, where in Brooklyn? Where do you?" I just want to get a good review.
I grew up in a Big Lots part of the United States. Do you guys know what Big Lots is? Yeah? Who doesn't? Who doesn't know what Big Lots is? I'm gonna explain it to you guys, and congratulations. You lucky bastards. I'm gonna explain Big Lots to you. Imagine Kmart in the middle of a divorce. That's Big Lots. It's like an unshowered Kmart. You woke up, you know? You walk in and you're like, "Are you open?" And it goes, "Your dad took the shelves." We're a piles and bins family now. Dig around. That's Big Lots slogan if you don't know. Dig around. You want a DVD? Check the spoon aisle. I don't know. This was a yard sale till someone built a prison around it.
My mom told me I couldn't have a girlfriend until I'm 16. I'm so dumb, I listened to her. I remember being 15, some girl approached me. I was like, "Next year, all right?" Same location next year. I didn't get my first kiss until I was 18 years old. What is that? What is that? Y'all don't even know why you're clapping. Someone woo, someone ah, don't ah me. I caught up now. I'm just saying before, but I was 18, first kiss playing Truth or Dare, which is kind of sad, but I counted it. I was like, "I don't care, I'm counting this breath." 18 years old. She didn't even want to kiss me. They was like, "I dare you, Monica, to kiss Preacher." And she was like, "And I quit." And I'm like, "Hold up." I just got dared to suck his toe. We can quit? We don't gotta do it? What do you mean? She was like, "You ugly." I was like, "You ugly too. I'm trying to help us out." So this is another reason I was weird, because my mom forgot to talk to me about puberty, all right? She just forgot to talk to me about puberty. You can't forget to talk to your kids about puberty. I just found out, right? Can't let your kids just find out. I was just in class one day, just sitting there like, "Yo." Why every time Miss Lisa walked by?
And when you go into CVS or Walgreens, when they start to decorate for Halloween, they always lead with the big three monsters: Dracula, Frankenstein, and older woman. She doesn't even have to be in a witch's hat. Doesn't need it. Older woman. Can your heart stand the shocking facts of what time and gravity do to the female face? And the horror you'll feel when they leave the house? The big three, Dracula, Frankenstein, and Nana.
Yeah, me as a serial killer. The night stumbler. I'm pretty sure forensics have caught up to my skill level. They're gonna catch on pretty quick, like, these strangle marks are really weird. And this guy's footprints all over the place. This was all before he got to the victim. The real struggle happened over here. The f is he doing? He trying to tie his shoe or something. Are you guys seeing all these dog tracks?
Just couldn't have asked for a better partner, and she is addicted to Citizens app. That's, I guess, the one red flag. We're not sleeping a lot because she's addicted to this app. It's like Nextdoor app, any app that you ladies find that just notifies you of all the danger that's lurking in your neighborhood. Girls love to know. I wonder how many different ways I could be stabbed right now. And Citizens app provides you with all that information. She'll wake me up from a deep sleep and be like, babe, oh my God, I just got an alert. Please get up. There's a guy across the street right now in a tree, buck naked, holding a machete. Can you go see what he wants real quick? I was like, babe, I think a guy in a tree with his cock out, holding a sword at 3 a.m, already has his night planned out. What am I gonna say that's gonna deter this gentleman from the agenda he's created? She's like, do something to scare him off. I go, scare him off, baby. Climbed a tree buck naked. That is some gangster. I don't want to come face to face with a guy who isn't fazed at the idea of a splinter attaching to his wiener. And also, my greatest fear, other than heights, is the fear of a meth head's penis touching my hand. That's how monkeypox started. But I'm her protector now, right? I swelled up. We got to be, like, I got you, right? I'm married now. Right? As soon as we got married, I was like, I'm your protector, right? I got you, probably, right? In most instances, I'll be there most likely, right? Depending on how big the other guy is, I got you. We'll see. Yeah, she asked me to go out there, so I went out. I was looking for some skin, poking between the bushes and branches. Late night, I see this elbow just farting through the tree, and I got real aggressive. I was like, "What's up, man? What you doing up there?" His voice comes back at me. "What's up, bro? You good?" I was like, "Whoop, that was way too cordial for this time of night." Up in a tree. I go, "What's up with that sword, dog?" He goes, "It's a machete." All right, fair enough. What about the no clothes thing, man? Why you buck naked? He was like, "Why you buck naked?" I was like, "Touche." I was also buck naked. I should have put this on. I thought nude on nude would diffuse the violence.
My dad has spent his whole life running from himself. His whole fucking life. What's going on? Get the car, get the dog. We're going to the beach now. You can relax, Dad. We're on holidays. We could be on holidays faster. Dad treats life like a race. It's like a job to get done. Get born, grow up, meet someone, get married, have kids, retire, dead. Good, done. Done, good. Life's done. Good. What's next? Looks like the afterlife needs a mow. Let's mow the afterlife. Let's get that job done. Dad never looks inward. He's just going, you won't get me, life. I'm going too quick to feel. You won't catch me. I wish I was like that, just running through life, leaving a wake of mentally ill children behind me.
I don't get why dads are so obsessed with baseball. Like, they're so obsessed with playing catch with their son. They're just like, if they don't have a son, they go like, they're just out of it. They're like, I just want a son to play catch with. I just wish I had a son to play catch with. I need a son so I can throw the ball to him and he can throw the ball to me. Just so obsessed. Meanwhile, he has 5 daughters with 2 hands each, and he's like, no, it has to be a son. The same thing with sons. Like, if sons don't have dads, they're just like, I just never had anyone to play catch with. Just threw the ball at the wall all day. My life sucks. I don't get that. It's not that hard to play catch. Like, my mom is so strong. She saved us from our dad. She saved us from a tornado. She always put food in our bellies and a roof over our heads. Like, you don't think my mom can toss the ball to me? So last time I was in Illinois, I bought her a glove, and we went to the backyard, and we played catch. Yeah. And guess what? She f***ing sucks. She throws like a girl.
I was at my hotel the other day. I went to go get some delicious lobby coffee, you know? Is it just me, or does every hotel somehow manage to make their coffee taste like it was percolated through a trucker's? Chunky. Yeah, that's actually where the term cup of joe comes from. Thanks, Joe. You made a good one.
I'm getting tired of the way companies advertise to women. There's this thing called femertizing, where they put a feminist lean to commercials to sell more stuff. And it works sometimes. But the way they're doing it now keeps getting weirder and farther away from the product. Because they want to tug at our, like, feminist heartstrings. So they're essentially like, you enjoy being girl, right? And you like that girls were able to girl before you, girl? And you want girls to be able to girl after you, girl? Then buy Friskies. What? The cat food? Was this like a joke the whole time?
But my dad decided that when I was 5 years old, he just decreed like a drunk king, the boy is old enough to fly on the aeroplane by himself. And so I started flying by myself at age 5. And in case you've never done that, here's how it goes. Your mom drops you off at the airport and then drives away. And then a flight attendant who is psyched to, in addition to doing her weird job that's midway between being a cocktail waitress and a first responder, now also has to babysit a 5-year-old? And the very first thing they do is they give you a sticker, says unaccompanied minor, just to make sure everybody at the airport knows you're there for the taking. Just like a little silver platter for pedophiles. Like, this one's alone, boys. This is Kurt. He's 5. He loves He-Man and sharks and keeping secrets. And I was like, there's no way they still do that. That was just something they did in the 80s. No, they still do it. I was recently in Montreal airport. I saw a little girl, she must have been 10 years old. She had the unaccompanied minor sticker on, but then she was also wearing a t-shirt, and I am assuming that her parents do not speak English because the t-shirt just said, white wine all the time. Which combined with the unaccompanied minor sticker, not a good look for the parents.
I had the most, assumption-shattering experience when we were driving, going through Nebraska, and Rose had a blowout. And it was like a blowout, like someone put 5 M80s in a towel. Like it just sounded muffled, like in the old World War II movie where the guy's like, grenade, lands on it. Like it was like that. It was insane how loud it was, and I look back and she's like, oh, the evil is loose. Like her face looked so relaxed and happy. And it was my turn. Like my wife's like, your turn. And the stench filled the car, like, oh God. We pull over and I take her out and I look, and the closest business is a place called Thunder Road, which is a biker bar / family restaurant. That's actually a thing. Just motorcycles, hogs, as far as the eye can see. Every third guy has a leather cut, a vest on with his club on the back, and he's MC. And we were going into the restaurant, me and Rose, and we passed the restaurant. I'm like, where's the restroom? And of course they're like, it's in the bar. Of course it is. Like, I'm changing a baby. Did I stutter? I said the bar. And so we went through the bar, and there were as many kids in there as there were in the family restaurant. And I get into the men's room, and I make my assumption, my first assumption, which was, no way they got a changing table in here. Nah, it's gonna be my wife's turn. No way. Wrong. Thunder Road woke as like, their changing table, you could have a horse give birth sideways on that thing. Just go, bah, like, oh my God, I could sleep on this in the fetal position. This is incredible. Put my diaper bag here, some snacks, couple beers, a baby in the middle. This is incredible. I'm sure that's why it was designed that way, you know. And I'm changing her, and she's cleaned up, and I'm about to put the fresh diaper on, and a biker passes me who looks straight out of whatever the Norse god Hel is. Like, wherever the evil Vikings go. Like, he had this giant, rivulet-covered beard, and this grease-heavy, he had that, if Jake Gyllenhaal grew his hair out long, that looks like a helmet, right? Like, he had the tree line, but just grease and evil just melded in there. His eyes were somehow not brown or blue, but red, like red pupils somehow. Not high, like just eyes of fire. And a leather cut that he looked like he was born in and grew into, like it was part of his musculature. Buck knife. And he's walking out and he stops and he looks right at Rose's vagina. Pause for laughter. Nothing? That usually kills. Yeah, real awkward. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, mentally, I'm like, go away. Like, I would ordinarily never take you on, but I will pull this hairdryer out of the wall. Like, I've done it before. The little, right? You just put your foot up, yank. They're tiny screws. I've done it when I was in Chicago. And then hit him in the face, sit on him, put it through his head, grab my baby with bloody hands, run her out to my California plated electric vehicle, and get chain whipped to death by the rest of the motorcyclists, I'm sure. That's my brilliant plan, everybody. So I'm sitting there worried, and then he goes, yeah, that's a rash. What? He's like, I don't want to make things weird. Like, we're so there. You made it weird 50 seconds ago when you were staring. He's like, I don't want to make it weird, but I got 4 of those, and that's a rash. I got 4 of those? You mean kids? Those things? Yeah, 2 I won in a card game, 1 I got at a garage sale. 1 me and my old lady made natural, and I've seen my share of a diaper rash, brother. That's a rash. And then he blew my mind completely when he unsnaps his blood-caked leather vest and is like, you got the cream? And I pull out the same tube of diaper cream, and I'm like, got it right here, brother. And he's like, right on, brother. Stay strapped. And he walks out. Oh, my God. Oh. I still wake up in the middle of the night to this day and go, he had the cream. And I go back to sleep. Peacefully. Right next to his buck knife. Amazing. What's your gang? Hell's Dads? Who are you guys? It's magnificent. Oh.
No, I trained my ex-boyfriend to tell me I'm skinny. I used a gun. It was so easy to get a gun. No, I can never be stick thin because I'm a little hungry boy. I'm a little hungry boy. I want to eat. I want to eat like an underweight high school football player. I want to eat like the Lost Boys in Hook when Pan comes back. I hate when people say, eat to live, don't live to eat. It's like, shut up. French fries are incredible. They're like a drug that won't make you lose your mortgage and 2 kids. Shoestring fries are bullshit, though. I hate a shoestring. You guys? Yeah, I hate them. I hate them. Oh, you want to demean me? You want to degrade me? You want to humiliate me and to put a whole handful of fries into my mouth just to get the equivalent of 1 regular fry? Please. Please.
We definitely have generational differences, that's for sure. I love cash. I love cash. I always have cash on me, and I have cash hidden all over the house. And he doesn't get it. What's with the cash? I go, you gotta have cash. Why? In case the Nazis come. He says, what do you need cash for the Nazis? I said, you can't Venmo the guard. What are you gonna Apple Pay the guy? Was that SS Schultz at thirdreich.gov? With an open close gate emoji? You gotta have cash.
So this happened to me. I was driving by my middle school, and this was a memory from 6th grade where my 6th grade teacher, she was our Spanish teacher, and she would like make the white kids change their first names to Hispanic names. What was that? Doesn't help you learn. It's like, okay, so I'm a Jose now? I don't understand. I'm going through puberty. I have enough of an identity crisis as it is. But my best friend Jeff, he didn't play ball. On his name tag, he wrote Mr. Goodbar. Like the candy bar. And here's the memory. My teacher sees it, and she lost her mind. And she goes, "You can't call yourself Mr. Goodbar!" And he goes, "Why not?" And she goes, "Because Mr. Goodbar is a porn star!" And I'm like, there's no way I'm remembering that correctly. So I looked it up. And it turns out Mr. Goodbar was a very famous porn star in the 80s. But we didn't know that, because we were 11 years old. Senorita Pregunta. If I may, one pregunta. Como se dice too horny to teach? How do you say that?
And so I have like 4 old dude male comic friends who I swear to God are nice enough guys. But they have recently said to me that you can't even flirt anymore, man. You can't even flirt. You talk to a woman, she thinks you're harassing her. And I have this to say. Are you sure you're flirting? Because I've never flirted in my life. I am married, but not because of any interpersonal skills, right? I'm married because of online dating. Online dating is the last bastion of you can go somewhere and look at each other and both of you go, well, I would make out with that. Would you make out with this? And then you move forward from there. And that's why I'm married. Prior to internet dating, I had 2 ways of hitting on guys, and one of them was stone cold sober. If I liked a guy, I would stand next to him for years. Absolutely never successful. Second way, I'd get liquored up. I'd go to the bar. I'd walk up to any promising dude and go, this needs a tune-up. You want in? Neither one of those is flirting. One of them is harassment. Right here. How do we know? How do we know? Because of how the men would respond. That's how we know. Almost all of them said, ew, no. And then some of them said, sure? We then proceeded to have what can only be called consensual but regrettable sex. I don't know. And then I looked up the definition of flirting. Flirting is harassment. That's the definition. It's either successful harassment or unsuccessful harassment. The best definition of flirting I read was this one: an interaction with another person wherein you make the other person feel good about themselves. Ooh. Who's doing that? And then I realized who's doing that, and it's my dad. My father is an aluminum siding salesman, though vinyl is final, steel is for real. Still selling LFTBD, Milwaukee, windows, doors, anything you need, roofing. But I recently found out that he hit on one of my best friends, Maria Bamford, at my wedding. Now, in his defense, at my wedding, Maria Bamford was a tiny 35-year-old blonde woman, which is his favorite kind of person. But she told me this, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And she said, don't be sorry. He didn't touch me. He didn't even say anything weird. I just got the impression that he thought I was pretty. I was like, that's that crazy definition of flirting. How did he do it? She goes, I have no idea. So, the last time I was home, I had dinner with my dad, and then I had breakfast with my dad. And at breakfast, I said, you hit on Maria Bamford using some weird skill. What was it? He was like, it's a sales technique, Jackie. It's called the post-close warm-up. I've been trying to teach all you kids how to do it since you were born. Is anyone listening to me? He said, I hit on the waitress. We went out to dinner last night. We hit on the waitress last night using the post-close warm-up. You were there. And I was like, I remember you hitting on the waitress, Dad. I also remember it not being successful. And he goes, it's not always going to be successful. It's a waitress. That is a hostage situation. She keeps going away. You can't build any kind of momentum, but you got to practice on someone. By the way, going to dinner with your 84-year-old father in Milwaukee, we're talking Outback, 4:30. Okay. The waitress came to the table. My father looked at the waitress and said, you are very good looking. You look very familiar. Are you an actress? You are very good looking. You look very familiar. Are you an actress? And she said, no, I'm a waitress. What would you like to drink? He got the coffee. She goes away. She comes back. My dad goes, you just seem so familiar to me. I feel a connection with you. Maybe we've met before. And she goes, maybe. I meet a lot of people. What would you like to eat? He got the steak. She goes away. She comes back at the end of the meal. My father goes, well, it's been very nice meeting you. I hope I see you around again. And she goes, maybe. Here's the bill. Now, there are 3 beats to this thing. The first beat you say in a non-threatening general way, well played. Nice work. Second beat, you say, I feel a connection with you. I'm kind of sorry we've never met before. Third beat, my dad's like, very important. Third beat, you gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. You give it a shot. You say, well, it's been very nice meeting you. I hope I see you around again. If she's interested, she will talk more to you. You will start another round, and eventually, you will sell that woman windows. I love my father a great deal. And if you were to look at him objectively, actually, I don't recommend that. I recommend you look at him subjectively through the love in my eyes, because he's very smart, he's very good with money, he loves talking to people. Actually, like 3 weeks ago, he calls me up and he's like, so I'm watching TV, and at the commercial, there's an opportunity to get a free $100 square pillow. I was like, yeah? He goes, yeah. So I called him up and I was like, I'd like my free square pillow. And he said, well, give us your information. I did. I hung up. Moments later, guy calls back, different guy. to sell me a $6,000 electric bed. And I was like, yeah, that's what that's for, Dad. He's like, I know. I talked to him for like 90 minutes. And it was great, $6,000 electric bed. Talked him down to $3,600. And then he finally said, you give me $100 over the phone and then send me $100 a month. We'll bring the bed over to your apartment. And I said, I'm 84. I'm going in tomorrow for heart surgery. If I live, I'll call you back. Click. So he's like, the guy was a pretty good salesman. I think I saved like 3 old people having to talk to that guy. He's very good at a lot of different things. Like he's my brother Russ, who lives in Milwaukee, hangs out with him all the time. He's like, sometimes Dad will tell me that if I get a certain stock in like a week and a half, I can turn it around and make like 10 grand. And I remember the first time he told me that, I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, you should. Don't bother though. And my brother Russ is like, why wouldn't I? No, I want to make 10,000. Why wouldn't I do that? He's like, well, there's not really fun in that. It's because you could make $250,000 if you invest in this other stock. And some sort of mousetrappy kind of Rube Goldberg thing happened, where like a swan came by and rolling a bowling ball. You could make like $250,000. And my brother Russ goes, I think I'm just gonna do the $10,000 thing, Dad. And my dad's like, it's boring, but okay. So he's done it like 6 times, and he has like a Scrooge McDuck pile of money. And I was like, hey, Russ, you got 5 siblings over here. When Dad tells you something like that, why don't you call the rest of us? And my brother Russ goes, why don't you call your dad more often? He's not wrong. I did call my dad not long ago, and I was talking to him, and I said, I was just making conversation. And I said, I turned down a gig. And he goes, you just turned it down. And I said, yeah, didn't want to do it, Dad. And he goes, what was the first thing I taught you? And I was mad because I didn't like his tone of voice. And so I said, I don't know, pick up other people's change. And he became very angry since he's never said that. He said, no, the first thing I taught you all was never say no without a number. And I was like, that does sound familiar. What the heck does it mean? He goes, you don't say no. You say, I'd love to do that. I'm going to need, and then you pick a giant number. And I was like, 17 grand. He's like, that's a good number. He's like, odd number, strong. He's like, I would love to do that. I'm going to need $17,000. And then they say, oh my gosh, we don't have $17,000. And then you say back, well, thank you so much for thinking of me. If your budget ever goes up, keep me in mind. But know that my prices are always rising. So you can turn it down in perpetuity. And I was like, that's the greatest thing in the world. I'm totally going to do that. And I tried to do it, and I did it wrong. I asked for $2,000, and I got it. So I called my dad, and I said, never say no without a number didn't work, Dad. And he goes, yeah, every experience is a learning experience. What'd you ask for? And I said, $2 grand. He said, no, you know what you learned? Everyone has $2 grand. Yes. And now I have $2 grand, but I have to go to Montana in February. My dad is very much an old school capitalist, right? He thinks that there are tools on the table. You either use them or they get used against you. Actually, in his case, there's a third option. He is bored and he uses them on your behalf. It is a lot like trying to iron something poorly in front of your mother, and then she takes the iron and does it for you. That's what happened. My dad lives in what he calls an old people apartment building, and I was like, Dad, you're 84. What's old to you? And he goes, dead. Dead is old. Any day of the week, you can get a free DVD player in this building. And he says, okay, so I'm walking by the common area, and inside the common area, there's an old guy, like 94, 95 years old. He had just gotten out of the hospital. He had just had surgery, and he has Medicare. He has secondary insurance, but he was kind of freaking out. He was almost crying because he had gotten 2 more bills, one from the hospital, one from the surgeon, for more money, for like 30 grand, 35 grand, and he was really upset. My dad pauses, and he goes, can you believe people think they got to pay hospital bills? And I was like, Dad, they're bills. People pay bills. And he's like, not a hospital. You die on a hospital money, that's a win right there. You send them $5 a month, you're trying. They can't do anything. Can't put a lien on anything or garnish your wages. And if that hospital gets any kind of federal funding, they have to do a certain amount of sliding fee scale billing. They don't want to give you the paperwork, but eventually, I'm like, pardon me, Mr. Incredible, while I take notes and tell several hundred people in Minnesota. You ever see The Incredibles? The most heroic moment of The Incredibles was when that guy finds that paperwork for that old lady. And the rest of the movie, quite nice. But that movie, heroic. Okay. My dad says, I can't handle it. So I go in and I tell the guy, I'm like, get the bills, get your checkbook, we'll come into my apartment, we'll take care of this. So they go back into my dad's apartment, and then my dad gets to call the hospital billing. Fun! It's his favorite thing. So he calls the hospital billing, and he's talking to this woman. He's like, I'm talking to this woman, and I was like, so my buddy owes you $17,000. I'm sitting next to him. You're never going to see this money. And the hospital billing lady's like, but he was in the hospital. And my dad's like, you've already been paid twice. Medicare, secondary insurance, you're triple dipping. I'm sitting right next to him. He's not going to make it. He's barely sitting up. He was in the hospital just a minute ago. Did you know that? The woman goes, he's not going to make it? Well, could he give us like $600 over the phone with a routing number and then we'll write it off? And my dad's like, yeah, we could totally do that. So they give him a routing number and they hang up. And my dad goes, now we're going to go talk to the surgeon. He's right here in Milwaukee. I'll drive. Lincoln Town Car, 99. They get into the car at around 4:30 in the afternoon on a Thursday. They drive to the surgeon's office. And my dad goes into the surgeon's office. He goes up to the receptionist and says, my buddy owes you 15 grand. He's here. He's got his checkbook. We'd love to talk to the surgeon. The receptionist is like, please come and sit down. So it's 5 to 5 on a Thursday. And my dad is like, starts in with the surgeon. He's like, yeah, you're never going to see this money. Look at this guy. He can barely sit up. He just had surgery. And the surgeon's like, but I did the surgery. He's like, you're triple dipping. You're never going to see this money. Surgeon lasted almost an hour 15. Finally said, give me $200, get the heck out of my office. So they write the check. And they're driving home. And my dad goes, so we're driving home. And I say to the old guy, let's stop at McDonald's and get a senior coffee. You could buy me a senior coffee. Get this, guy would not buy me a senior coffee. 59-cent senior coffee, guy wouldn't do it. And I was like, Dad, why would that guy want to spend another heartbeat with you? You just spent 5 hours telling anyone who would listen that he was a dead person. He's like, yeah, but I just saved him like 30 grand. And I was like, did you do it for the coffee? And he's like, yeah. I don't need to get paid a lot. I just need something. Anyway. My father he's a good guy. When I had breakfast with him, he said, you know, your Uncle Johnny's son Jimmy has the dream job. And I was like, yeah? You know, I'm on TV sometimes, Dad. What's the dream job? And he goes, he drives a cement truck. I was like, wait, that's the dream job? And he goes, yeah, you know the truck that spins? He gets to drive that truck. I was like, yeah, that's the dream job? He said, yeah, you just drive up into buildings and pour cement. I'm like, wait, driving a cement truck is the dream job? And my dad goes, it's the truck that spins, Jackie. So inside of my very sophisticated 84-year-old father is a toddler who would desperately like to drive a concrete mixer. I have been corrected.